Hey everyone, welcome to Book of Katherine, and hopefully my third and final take of this health update. The last one I cried my eyes out, so I really hope this is my last take. All right, everybody, let's do an update of my health. You guys have been asking, and I do think it's kind of important that I do some videos besides politics, or else I'm going to have to end my channel. So, all right, update on my health. So 2 things that I want to tell you about my health. Number 1 is that my husband and I did a break again. We just finished a break. Now, and the reason I'm telling you about that is because something different happened on our break this time that has not ever happened before. Now, I just told you in my test holiday video about the weight loss industry, the weight gain industry, and why the AstroTurf industry has us saying that being overweight is beautiful in order to make money off us, make us a customer in the health industry, because you have to take all these medications and it makes them an extraordinary amount of money. When we gain weight, it makes them a lifetime customer, things like that. And all these other things about how they won't help you have children, all these things the moment you're over a certain body mass index. Now they do all these things, risk factors, and Wall Street's in charge of the health industry and they want profits and things like that. So after I did that video, which you can see it right here on that test holiday cover, I talked in that video about my husband and I taking breaks because I said we're addicted to sugar. So we take breaks, about twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. So my husband and I just took a break. And in that video, when I said we take breaks, we just go all out, and we have to because we're addicted to sugar, because we were raised on the food pyramids. Now, what happened this time when we took a break is something completely different. It felt good the first 3 days. In fact, what happened was something that always happens usually when I take a break. And it's usually the reason that it's the whole reason that we started taking a break is usually going on the ketogenic diet, the ideal protein diet. It makes you stronger. It makes you give you all this energy, and you get all these, you're never hungry. It's so nice never being hungry. When you go on break, you're always hungry. It never fills you up. It kind of drives you nuts because you can eat for hours and hours and hours, and it makes your stomach hurt, but you never feel full. Whereas on the ketogenic diet, you can eat this like one little thing and just feel full forever. Like you forget to eat on the ketogenic diet all the time. You're like, oh, what, right? You're like, oh, shoot, I have 2 more meals left, sometimes. So it's kind of nice, being on the ketogenic diet. So at least for me anyway. So it's not always like that, but you never feel like that when you're on this diet, when you're not this diet, but when you're on, when I'm off the diet, I never feel like that. I don't feel full now. I miss that. So I can't believe I'm saying that. So it's just been a very different experience. But one of the things the reason that we started breaks in the first place is because I noticed myself starting to get weak all of a sudden, like super, super weak, to the point where like I was getting like really disabled and starting to have these weird kind of pains. And they're very, very strange pains or whatever. And so my body would just start doing these weird things. And I think it's because you're not meant to go on the diet. I was losing such an extraordinary amount of weight. I guess not everybody's able to stick on the diet as long as I was. Like I went on the diet and then I actually just stayed on it. Like I did the 3 days. I went on the diet. I stayed on the diet. I never broke the diet. And I stayed on the diet for 6 months straight. I don't think, apparently most people don't do that. I happen to like the diet. So I think, I don't know. I'd have to look into it and see what it's like for other people. But then again, I do it a very different way. I just do it a clean way. I don't try to get all fancy. I don't try to do all these different recipes. I don't try to get into cookbooks. I don't go online and get into all these communities and try to do this and try to do that. We try to do the shakes. We try to do this. We try to do that. No, we just quit all that. No, these are the proteins we like. Well, this is what we like. This is what we do. This is easy. Easiest meals to make. Quickest times to make it. And honestly, it's not what our day revolves around anymore. Our day revolves around our friends and talking, and that is what our day is consumed with. Which is ironically what things used to be consumed with, is conversating during the day with the people in your life that you love. It's a much different way to live your life. So anyway, So you move back in, and what would happen is, once again, like I ate sugar, which is just what I call being off the diet, eating something sugar. So I'd have a muffin or something, or whatever it was I had, a hamburger with the bun or something. And boom, suddenly I was up magically walking. I didn't notice it. I just like walked into an office building, and my husband was like, oh my gosh, you're up again. Like you walked in completely differently. Like you're barely able to walk in, and suddenly you were just like walking in. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, wow. Like they're in. And so it meant that it was time. We had done the right thing at the right time. But 3 days in this time, like my body was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. And his body was the same way. Like, 2 days later, he was like, I'm done. I'm out. And I was supposed to go back on the diet this coming Thursday. And I was just like, no, like I want to go off the diet tomorrow, which is Monday. I don't want to go. Like and normally we're like, oh God, okay, put away the sugar, we have this cupboard in the house where we put it away until next time. We're just like, put away the sugar, or put away the candy, or put away this. And we just, put it away and close it up and lock it away. Right. And oh, it's so hard. I know. Oh, can you just do it for me? Oh, blah, blah. No, this time I was like, I don't want it. Like, just take it. Like, can you take it for me? Like, and they're like, wow, like usually I'm like, hold on to the next night or whatever, and hold on to like, wait until the next morning, and like, wait till I have the whole 24 hours with it or whatever. Wait till I go to bed with it, cradling it in my arms. Nope, none of that. None of that. Quitting 4 days early, don't want it, don't need it. And also, usually craving like certain kinds of foods throughout the week. None of that. Not craving all these foods that I used to miss. Like I miss pizza, I want pizza, or I want Chinese, or I want this kind of food. All these kinds of foods that I'd want. None of that happened this time. Like I didn't crave any certain types of food. I don't know what's going on. And my husband's the same way. I was like, I thought you were craving all these foods and stuff like that. Like I could have sworn he was going to get pizza today. Nope. Didn't get anything. Just ate leftovers. Couldn't believe it. And he was supposed to go off later this week. Instead, he's coming off with me tomorrow too. I don't know what's going on with us. So I wanted to let you know that that's a big change for us here. Is that on this break, we are going off onto the diet early. We don't like it. We don't like being on it. Every day I am not on the diet. And I'm getting ready to eat like the sugar foods. All I can hear my doctor saying is, you don't like those foods, right? Like you've lost your taste for those foods. It's so good that you've lost the taste for those foods. And I would think, I haven't lost my taste for those foods. Well, now I'm like, yeah, I've lost the taste for those foods. Like I've lost the taste for this food, or I've lost my taste for that food, which is great. So the taste that I have now, I'm like, oh, like I crave nuts or something like that, which we didn't even think to buy. And nuts are what will be on the table. Now, an idea that we have had, like talking to the Hollywood people actually, and the dietitians in the group, they were actually saying it could be because of how, like he's even lower, like he's super low, because he's way different than I am. Like he didn't have to go on the diet or whatever. Like I had to go on the diet, but he just did it to be like, living with me or whatever. So he's like model thin right now. You've seen pictures or whatever. He is like model thin. He could be a model right now. He is just super, super thin or whatever. Me, I am just like, I have now, since the last break or whatever, I've now broken the place where I am now half of what I was. Like I was 300 and now I broke down to 150. Maybe it's that. Like maybe it's that I've broken down to the 150 place, and now I'm at such a low weight that now my body's just like, no, I don't want any more. And now the sugar is starting to hurt. Because that's what it kind of almost feels like. Like when I eat, it almost hurts and my body just wants to, like I keep saying to my husband, like, I just want to be out of pain. That's all I want to be, is out of pain. And the food's not taking away the pain. And before I used to feel like it did, it took away the pain. And 3 days in, I felt like it wasn't taking away the pain. And I'm not sure if it's adding to the pain, but I sure know it's not taking away the pain. And I just feel like the water's swelling me up. It's breaking me out. It's making me look huge and white and puffy. And I just hate it. I hate it all. And I feel like it is. It's adding some sort of pain. It may be just pain from the pressure of the water. Like I know, like I'm just swelling up from water. Like my ankles swelled up. Like you can see the water weight on me differently because my body's so much smaller. I'm like, what the heck? Like my ankles were just like this size. And I was like, okie dokie then. Ah! It freaked us out. So I was like, okay then. So something's different with my legs and my body. Don't know what that is. But maybe that's why it hurts so much. So we were like, okay, change the foods that we're eating. Like we had just gotten chips and salsa. And I was like, no more chips at all. So I was like, well, what are we supposed to, so whatever. So we'll find out next time. Like it's not that I don't plan on doing a break again, but now we're like, now when we do the break, let's do the foods that we're supposed to eat when we're like closer to like what we're supposed to eat. Like if we're actually like done with the diet, if that makes sense. Like what they say you can eat when you're done with the diet. We're going to go more towards that instead of just eating like carbs galore. So I want to let you know that, just see if that maybe gives you hope or anything like that. Maybe your experience will be totally different. But I would think that if I was the only one that experienced that, but I didn't. My husband experienced it too. But he also broke a certain weight as well. So I think maybe that had to do something with it. He might have experienced it last time, but I wasn't paying attention last time. I can't remember. Sorry, I don't have a good memory. My time collapses. I would have to ask him. He might remember. Okay, so that was my first thing. And then my second update is that I don't think that I'm worn out from doing 3 videos, so I'm going to have to go very quick on it. The second update is that I no longer think that this thing that's really, really wrong with me has to do with my car accidents. If you listen to Glenn Beck's illness or whatever, and I'll try and link it right here, which is very similar sounding to mine, he didn't have a bunch of car accidents going into it. And I keep thinking about this to what this neurologist said to me. He said, like, why isn't it just the car accidents? Why can't it be just the car accidents? And my PT she got so mad when she heard that. But I was just like talking to my husband, and I had actually answered her, well, because I got up and danced afterwards, like, and I realized later, like, well, actually the first accident was way worse than the second. The second was like nothing compared to the first. The first was the bad one. And I was just like, yeah, and I did all these things in competition after the first and after the second. No, it was this much longer after the second that all of a sudden this happened that made me go to the neuro. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, who's been tying it to the car accidents? Has it been me or the doctors? And I think just because at the time that I went to the doctor, hold on, oh my gosh, this is bad. Hello. Actually, now that I remember, I think it's just because when I went to the doctor for what was happening in my body, I didn't go to them for my head. I went to them for the pain that was going on in my body and my dizziness and all this and stuff. But my head was still really swollen from the concussion. But the concussion had happened years prior. But I didn't go to the neurologist in desperation with this, like, I said there is this new thing going on. And it wasn't started 2 years ago. I said there's this thing that has started in my body. And it started 3 months prior to that. And I was freaked out. I was like, it's dizzy. It's this pain radiating. It's all these new symptoms. And that didn't start with the car accident. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, when did it get linked? Just because the concussion was present, just because my head was swollen, 2 years later, like, fudge. It's separate. I know what my accident was like. I remember getting up and dancing later, and I remember what it was like. And it's neither accident was like this thing where when I led it to a place, both I healed later. It didn't get deteriorating to the point where my husband can't touch my legs without me screaming and wincing in pain. That's not the way that works. You know what I mean? There's a deterioration happening. I am deteriorating to the point, like he has to tuck me in at night. And that's the other thing. That's the final thing I guess I want to say is that, like, I'm really getting to the point where I understand, like, I'm really at the point of, like, not at the point, but I have been I have been at the point of 24-hour care. When he has to go somewhere, you know, they have to leave me with a 24-hour nurse. Like, they have to leave me with a nurse. So, like, I just need to own up to that. That's how bad it is. So I'm owning that. That, like, when I'm on the couch at night, just when I'm on the couch, you know, I can't reach across. I can't actually reach to get the water that's there. You know, I have to ask him to get that for me. I need him to tuck me in and tuck my legs in. He has to get the pillows to wrap me up underneath this leg and that leg, and he has to prop my whole body up at night. I can't do that myself. That's what a nurse does. He's a nurse. He's a 24-hour nurse. That's why I wait every day for him to come home at lunch. And that's why I'm scared when he's not here. And that's why he's terrified. And we have apps that make sure that we're close by. And that's why there's a network of people, you know, of my friends, that there's an emergency. They know. And they're scared. That's why they're so ferocious about protecting me, you know, when I know some of you guys in Hollywood have brushed by it and you get them so vicious about it, you know. I'm just going to have to own up to the fact of the matter, you know, the reality of it. And start getting the house, like, start realizing that the house has to be outfitted that way. You know, start getting more bars in and more things in, and because it was beautiful and magical getting that injection in. But you know what? I wasn't cycling for most of September. Like the end of September, I wasn't cycling, but this still happened. This still cycled. This kept going in cycles. It's made worse when I cycle, but it kept going. This kept cycling. It gave me a real clear picture. And when the injection wore off, that was it. I was done. I was done walking. So every time I can walk, I just was doing that physical therapy, man. Every time I could walk, physical therapy. Legs up, legs out, legs up, back, back. Squats. Squats. I did them this morning. I took the cats out. Man, I push it. I push it. I push it, you know, and maybe it means that I'll scream when he tries to hold my hand because he brushes my legs and I scream out. But it's worth it because I will not get to the point where I will stop moving again because I know where that leads. So anyway, I hope that's not a depressing update. God, I feel awful asking for donations at this point. This is why I don't like doing health updates. I don't want to make it dismal, but I do have an injection scheduled this month. But if you could donate. God, I feel awful asking for donations. I love you guys. You just watch the links below. Thank you. See, I cried again. All right, I better go. I love you. Thank you for your loving thoughts and everything. You just made such a difference when I have been in bad places. Love is the theme for all of your faiths, and even those who don't have faiths. The common theme is your love and your care for me. And that's that's the only thing I can get out of it, is that the common theme of all of you is that you care about me. And I think that's what makes a difference. Thank you for changing my idea about love. I love you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Love you. Bye.